All right, I want to ask you about climate as well. Of course, the Greens are helping Labor pass the 43% emissions reduction bill. What's been the feedback from some of your members?
Look, I think across the country, people want to see real climate action, and that's what we want to see too. We took a weak bill and we improved it to the point where we felt prepared to pass it. The feedback is generally, and I think since the election as well, relief that there's not overt climate deniers in charge and running our government. And there is a sense that in this parliament where we've got more third voices in it than ever, that there is the prospect of tackling some of the big issues that we're facing, and that this is a small step on the road to doing that. The great concern that we've had during the discussions and during the negotiations, which is also I found reflected back afterwards, as I've spoken to people afterwards, is that people are pleased that we're taking a small step along the road, but stunned that there's still new coal and gas projects that are potentially going to get approved. And I see today in the financial review, there's talk of a new gas expansion project that seems to have the full-throated backing of the Labor government. And like at some point, the massive dissonance between saying on the one hand, Parliament has to take climate action, but then on the other hand, the Labor government is going to keep opening up new gas and coal projects is going to hit home. And I would suggest people already see those two things. People are seeing those two as completely incongruous, and it's ultimately not a tenable position for the government.
So the issue there, though, is we know what the Greens want to do in the short, medium and longer term, but what can happen in the very short term? Even if that transition is starting now, we're facing a gas shortage next year. We still need gas next year. Do you agree that we need to be able to source that gas, heat people's homes, provide energy next year, even if you want the transition to happen a lot quicker? Because we're facing a shortage. That could mean spiralling costs, and people who could least afford it will be paying those costs.
Well, I'd say a number of things. One is we're trying to address a problem around the climate crisis, and you don't make it worse by opening new projects. Second, like anyone, even people who think that there is some role in the transition for gas, even they make it crystal clear that we've got enough gas in the system already to do that. We don't need to be opening up new projects to assist with that. Thirdly, businesses and households. The cost is going to keep going up and up and up, and this is the thing that the government isn't saying, is that even if they make additional supply available, which is not clear that this supply will be available for Australian households and businesses, even if they make it available, people are going to have to pay the international price. So what we can do in the short term, and what we're calling on the government to do in this coming budget, is to include subsidies and support to help households and businesses get off expensive gas. And the last point that I want to make about that is that there's plenty of gas in Australia. It's just all going overseas, and it's going overseas with these big corporations, in many instances not even paying for the gas in the first place and not even paying any tax on it. So this idea that there's somehow not enough in Australia to meet the needs now as we transition towards to zero emissions and 100% renewables is completely wrong.
Got to leave it there. Greens leader Adam Bandt, thanks for your time.
Thanks very much, Tom.